how Beyond Scared Straight failed to prevent kids from going to jail. Let's get right into it.
Beyond Scared Straight is easily one of the most controversial shows in history. Parents of troubled youth pay for their children to tour the inside of a prison or county jail so they can be exposed to the dark reality of life behind bars. When they arrive, they meet with real inmates who strike fear into them with threats, with the goal being to prevent today's teenagers from becoming tomorrow's prisoners. But their exposure therapy techniques are definitely questionable.
What is wrong with you, dog? Chill out.
You are starting in the wrong way.
This Kool-Aid, we put this on just like you. Lick your lips. Now stick your hand in that Kool-Aid. Just stick it in there. Now take your
Nigga had the Kool-Aid on his lips.
finger, just do this to the bottom one. Come here. Now I kiss you, you orange flavor.
Oh my god, I never see this episode though. This nigga crazy.
Mother. Stop. You ready?
You hard, man. You hard. You want to be hard?
There you go. You want to do? Try me. Try me. Yeah.
Nigga showed him his strength. Look at the nigga face though. Like this nigga beat my ass. Like that nigga beat the shit out of you.
Yo, try me. I want you to try me. I want you to try me. Try.
Now, there's no doubt that the show is entertaining and has given us some pretty hilarious moments over the years. However, our entertainment is at the expense of children's suffering. And the craziest part is, it has been proven on multiple occasions that Scared Straight doesn't work. In
I
fact,
figured. I don't know why you would think it wouldn't. After seeing that, you would think he would be like, yeah, I ain't trying to go to jail. Being there with the rest of them dudes. But these kids nowadays, you damn near gotta kill them to make them listen.
it might actually increase their chances of becoming lifelong criminals. A lot of people don't realize that Scared Straight is not just a television show on A&E. It's a program that has been implemented all over the United States for the past 50 years. And the reason it got so popular was based on just one alleged successful experiment. Scared Straight was the name of a television documentary released in 1978, produced by Arnold Shapiro. It was critically acclaimed, won an Academy Award, and even won an Emmy.
See, they're gonna put lipstick on your lips.
Oh, hold on. Like I said, this shit is old school. They took it back. Look how black homeboy lips is. God damn.
Rings in your ear, and now you swishing your ass up and down these tears, hustling cigarettes for your man.
No, this is the original. Oh, damn. Throwback.
What did I say? What did I say, mother? You here for two?
Yeah, back in the 80s, this was scare kids. Because kids back then, they had morals and shit. Nowadays, these fucking kids don't got no morals, no shame, no nothing.
2 hours? You belong to us for 2 hours.
The film documented youth offenders who visited Rahway State Prison in New Jersey. They met with inmates with the goal of being so scared of going to prison that they went on to live a straight or crime-free life. The documentary claimed that 80 to 90% of the 8,000 children who visited Rahway's program would go on to remain law-abiding citizens.
80 to 90%? I find that hard to believe. Yeah, I don't believe that. I'll have to see the proof on that.
Afterwards, the popularity and surprisingly positive results led to more than 30 states rapidly implementing the program. No further questions were asked. Jails and prisons all over the country saw one documentary and thought they had a solution to all of their youth.
Well, I mean, back in the 80s, there wasn't a lot of research to go off of with stuff like this with kids in school and like how to keep them out of trouble. It was pretty much they should just put, oh, don't smoke, don't do drugs, all them commercials all over TV, but it was never actually something that was like, oh, this is proven to work to keep kids out of jail. It's a 90% success rate. They're like, so of course they're gonna implement it. They're like, really, 90%? We should do this all over the country.
Offender problems. The program's validity was immediately questioned by juvenile delinquency professionals, but that didn't stop it from becoming popular. The original documentary was followed by Scared Straight, Another Story in 1980, also produced by Arnold Shapiro. This one was just a dramatic film. The subjects were actors who did scripted reenactments of their petty crimes, which led them to entering the Scared Straight program, being screamed at, and then feeling
When I get a chance, I gotta watch this. I like watching old school stuff from the 80s and 90s. That's the best TV anyway.
reformed after a couple overnights in the prison. Then in 1987, Scared Straight 10 years later aired.
I'll be your host for Scared Straight 10 years later. A fascinating update on what's happened to the kids and the convicts filmed a decade ago.
What I steal, I need, and I want.
Oh, that's what's up, brother. Yeah, they should do that. All the kids that go on these shows show us an update on what happened to them. When you see like 80% of them in jail.
It's embarrassing. 10 years ago, yeah, I did that.
Also,
I did that to look good. Now the difference is, yeah, I did that. Embarrassing. What I steal, I need, and I want.
The convicts filmed a decade ago.
What I steal, I need, and I want.
Damn, that's crazy.
It's embarrassing. 10 years ago, yeah, I did that. I did that to look good. Now the difference is I want to look good, but I like to pay for what I take.
We got to see the original 1978 crew, and they all explained how much the program changed their life for the better. The second half of the documentary introduced a new group of troubled teenagers. After their trip to Rahway State Prison, the documentary claimed that all 17 of the youth offenders were crime-free just 3 months after their visit. Then MTV connected with Shapiro for another sequel, Scared Straight 99. This documentary was potentially the most raw and shocking of them all. The prisoners were threatening these kids to levels we had never seen before. One inmate...
Yeah, this is when it started getting amped up. I gotta look back and see how they was doing it back in the 80s, but around the time when I was watching it, they used to be going crazy on them.
It made a kid hold his pocket as he walked around the cell.
That's about to hold on to this mother. Hold on to my mother. White dog, and you walk with me, mother.
This was highly regarded as one of the best out of the series, and people still genuinely believe this was an effective form of therapy for youth offenders, which makes sense when you consider the societal standard during this time period. Mental health issues that are widely known today had not been vigorously studied. Mental health as a whole wasn't taken as seriously as it is now. Plus, it was a lot more common for parents to use tough love and physical punishment to discipline their...
But, hold on now, slow down. Statistically, I don't know if this worked, but like discipline always works since the beginning of time. It's worked. I got discipline as a kid. Most people that I know that ain't delinquents got discipline. All these kids nowadays ain't got no discipline, and they not better than the kids or the people I was around when I was growing up. These kids are way worse because they ain't got no discipline and they telling their parents what they want to do. Like, the fucking 5-year-old telling you what they will and will not do, and the parents is actually listening to them like, okay, little Billy, you have a choice, like, the fuck out of here. So I think discipline is definitely needed, because look what's going on today. None of these kids got no discipline, so I definitely disagree with you on that, my brother.
Their children. These programs were seen as an extremely cheap and convenient solution to a very complex problem that is juvenile delinquency. But where Scared Straight received renowned media attention was when they released their 20 Years Later special. They claimed that of the 17 original 1978 children, only one of them became a career criminal. The 95% success rate shocked news. 8 children, only one special. They claimed that of the 17 original 1978 renowned media attention was when they released their 20 Years Later special. They claimed that of the 17 original 1978 children, only one of them became a career criminal. The 95% success rate shocked news publications. Scared Straight was a miracle solution. They used 17 people's stories for 20 years to justify this entire program around the United States. But the popular A&E series you all know and love didn't come until 2011 and was produced by the same man, Arnold Shapiro. But first, a quick word from our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. I want to tell you about the easiest way to get in on some NBA action with Underdog Fantasy and their Pick'em game. Just find your favorite player, or any player really, pick higher or lower on all over the United States for 30 straight. By the time most of us became aware of Scared Straight, it had already been a well-seasoned program all over the United States for 30 plus years. Beyond Scared Straight was a TV show that documented the experiences of troubled children as they embarked on a forced tour of a maximum security prison or jail. During the tours, inmates and officers would go to the greatest lengths, screaming, locking them in cells, putting lipstick on them, roughing them up.
The Kool-Aid on your lips. Nah, that's fucked up. my God, they get the real jail treatment.
Anything they could do to shock the children and make them terrified of going to prison in hopes that it would
You would think that would work, though.
steer them clear of a life of crime.
What's up? You like to fight, homie? That's what you like to do, huh? You little bitch. You's a bitch, homie. You's a Pop-Tart. I see right through you, homie.
Nah. They used to be talking to these kids crazy. He's a bitch, nigga. He's a Pop-Tart. Like, goddamn.
You better not stop. You better.
You a hug? You want to hug?
There you go. You want to do? Try me.
Did you smirk at me?
He says he don't know. You can't speak up.
You would think this shit would work. Cause these kids look terrified. Like, why would you would end up in there? Like, oh no, that's how you know this generation different. They see motherfuckers in jail talking about how horrible it is, and these motherfuckers, their logic is, I want to go there. Like, a lot of people, they gotta feel. They won't listen to nothing you say. They gotta experience it themselves. Some people just have to experience it themselves, and you gotta let them do it.
Are you smirking at me?
Fact, bitch, you hold this. You drop it, I'll smack out of you. I don't give a about going.
This was the most staggering and horrific Scared Straight program we had ever seen, and people loved it. The show's premiere alone attracted a staggering 3.7 million viewers, making it the most watched original series debut in the network's history. The undeniable success of Beyond Scared Straight led them to producing 83 episodes across 9 seasons, spanning from 2011 until 2015. But the most eye-opening realization about this show is that the Scared Straight program was proven by the federal government not to work. Since the release of the original film, many justice institutions and criminal prevention professionals have thoroughly studied the effects of the program to determine if it actually works. Surprisingly, numerous studies have shown that the Scared Straight method can actually do more harm than good. The most significant study was conducted by the U.S. Department of Justice after the release of the original film. They examined the outcomes of 9 controlled trials conducted from 1967 to 1992. This involved over 900 children, with the average age of 15 to 17, who participated in Scared Straight-like programs in 8 different states. Also, each study was conducted by a different research team. Every one of these studies also had a control group that did not attend a Scared Straight program. So they were comparing youth offenders who went to Scared Straight versus youth offenders who didn't attend one, and measured their likeliness to become a reoffender. The study found no evidence to support the effectiveness of Scared Straight in similar programs. In fact, all analysis showed that involvement in these programs increased measures of crime and delinquency. In nearly every one of the 9 studies, the group who went to Scared Straight had a higher rate of reoffense than the group who didn't go. After this comprehensive study was published, many others were conducted with different test subjects, different age groups, and different crimes. Many of the studies would produce very similar results. In 1997, University of Maryland researchers completed a report for Congress on the evidence for various crime prevention strategies. The researchers had no problem listing Scared Straight as one of the programs that doesn't work. To make things worse, these programs could potentially violate federal law. In 2002, which was 9 years before the first A&E episode aired, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention in Washington informed all states that Scared Straight programs or similar programs may violate the separation requirement of the JJDP Act. According to the Act, it is mandatory that juvenile offenders and non-offenders should not be detained or confined in any institution where they may have sight or sound contact with adult offenders. In short, it's illegal to have kids in jail with adults, which makes this...
Yeah, I always thought that. I was like, how would they do this show? Like, how the fuck, who's signing off on this to have these kids in these... If these is, I always thought it was fake. Because I'm like, nobody would have kids around real criminals doing that. Like, that doesn't seem safe at all. That's what I always used to think. I'm like, it's gotta be fake. These gotta be actors. Like, who these dudes is acting? That's what I always thought. But I guess they really had these kids in jail. Those must be like the good behavior criminals. That's why they allowing them to work with the kids and all that, but it seemed dangerous to me.
Makes this clip even harder to watch.
A terrified 9-year-old boy dangled like a raw piece of meat in front of a pack of prisoners.
Like, there's no way this is safe if these is really prisoners, but it seemed like they really was prisoners, so I don't know how. Their parents signed off on this?
his crime, stealing pocket
don't
change
cry.
from his mom and lying.
I think we can all agree that traumatizing a child to this degree for stealing pocket change is insane. Then filming it.
Is it though? That's how it starts. They start with stealing change. Now they stealing wallets and like, you know, they running into convenience stores and knocking people over and taking their stuff. So it start with little change.
Editing it and putting it out into the world is next level. One time they even showed these children a body and described to them what their parents.
Nah, bro, I wasn't keeping up with the shit, especially back in 2015, consistently like that. I didn't even. Whenever I catch a video on YouTube, I watch it, but they showed them a real dead body. Yeah, they was crossing the
would
lines.
experience
But I
if
mean,
they
the
go to
state
jail
signed
and
off
die
on
while
that.
on the
They do
inside.
whatever
These
the fuck they
programs
wanna do.
typically break
Because
these
nobody
children
went to jail
down.
for it,
They
even
start
though it's
crying,
legal.
are mortified, and just want to
The
go
state
home.
said it's
The
cool,
sad
and
part
everybody
is
said it's
their
cool,
home
so it's
life
cool.
is probably
Fuck
rough
what
as well.
Constitution say.
On the surface, the concept behind
Fuck
these
it.
Scared Straight programs makes sense. Troubled kids are so afraid of prison that they change their
Yeah, it
ways
would
to
make
avoid
sense.
such a
I
dark
can't
future.
see how it doesn't
However,
work.
there are multiple examples that say otherwise. Toby Keith Johnson was first featured on the show on season 3, episode 13. He was quiet and didn't show any emotion. The guards tried to break him down and make him feel bad about his choices, but he didn't budge. At the end, when the parents reunite with the children, Toby's mother didn't show up. 8 months later, Toby was featured on the show again. This time, he was an inmate. He was incarcerated for allegations of assaulting his mom. He got out 2 years later on parole, but sadly, continued a life of crime.
That's crazy.
He was arrested multiple times on meth and gun charges, but the most recent one was the worst of them all. In August of 2020, he was arrested for imprisoning a 25-year-old woman and making threats of harm, with Johnson forcefully grabbing the victim by the throat, choking her, and violently throwing her to the ground. The aggression continued with it, even going as far as Toby threatening her with a knife. Law enforcement would report visible signs of bruising on the victim's neck. I think it's pretty obvious that Scared Straight had no positive effect on Toby whatsoever.
I mean, it may not have stopped her from going to jail, but we're not going to insinuate that it's the reason or the cause for him going to jail. He probably would end up in jail anyway. We don't know because we can't go back in time, but I feel like this would have been his path anyway, whether or not he went Scared Straight or not. I don't think Scared Straight is the cause of him ending up in there. I think this is just his destiny, and he would have went down that path regardless.
Franklin Morris made his premiere on A&E in 2012. At the time of filming, he was living in Baltimore with his mother, Dana. In an emotional episode, Dana revealed the extent of Franklin's school suspensions, stating that she couldn't even begin to give a precise number. Franklin himself shared a nonchalant...
I'm assuming, I'm just going to throw this out there. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm assuming they don't beat Franklin. Look how Franklin, you think, when I see kids doing certain things, I just think back when I was a kid. I couldn't do that. I would get somebody to slap the shit out of me. I would get an ass whooping. These kids talk to their parents crazy, straight disrespecting them, ain't listening to them when they talking about whatever. I don't want to hear that. And then not getting punched in the face. We live in a different world. I didn't do half these shits these kids was doing. I didn't get a lot of beatings. I got like 2, maybe 1 or 2 beatings in my life. And I had like 2 beatings with a belt. And I still remember them shit till this day, like it was yesterday. And I was probably like 7, 8 years old. But the ass whooping, the pain, they give you a memory of what not to do. These kids, if you're not getting no ass whooping, it's kind of hard to discipline a kid. You can, but it's hard. Because kids, they're going to do things that they're not supposed to do. And sometimes words won't reach them. But pain will. Everybody feels pain. I don't care how gangster you are. Nigga put that licking on you, you wake up real quick and realize, alright, let me stop doing that. Let me stop coming home late. Let me stop doing whatever the hell it is these kids is doing to be on Scared Straight. But these parents ain't beating their ass. And this was all of I knew this was coming. I knew this was coming. For the minute I came to America and I realized you couldn't beat your kid ass, I knew this wasn't good. I'm like, these kids are fucked up. No wonder they all out here gang banging and doing all type of dumb shit. They parents literally can't discipline them. Only so talking could only get you so far, especially if your kid is like rambunctious and they really don't listen. Talking could only get you so far. Sometimes you gotta beat that ass, and if you don't beat that ass, 14, 15, they trying to fight your ass. Like, look how big this dude is. He's supposed to be beating the brakes off this fucking kid. if that's his son. Look how he's sitting. He's not even listening to what they talking about.
Nonchalant attitude towards his mother's concern, saying,
My mother says I'm either going to end up dead or in jail. I really don't pay her no mind.
At the
You really don't pay her no mind.
young age of 14, Franklin participated in the program, already having convictions for gambling and vandalism. One of the incidents that landed Franklin a spot on the show saw Franklin and his friends wreak havoc in a store, knocking items off the shelves and vandalizing a local shop. Years after his time on the show, Franklin Morris became one of 3 teenagers who met a grim fate near a playground in North Baltimore. Alongside a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old, Franklin was found, shot in the head, and pronounced dead at the scene.
What I thought about going to the jail was, it really wasn't.
See what I'm saying? Whether he went on scared straight or not, because it's not like, right. That's how you know it's not, this is, being on scared straight is not the cause of whatever's happening to these kids. It may not be helping them, but it's not the cause, because they was fucked up before they came there. You can't come to me fucked up. I'll try to fix you. You don't get fixed. You leave still fucked up and end up getting killed, and somehow that's my fault. No, I actually tried to help you. It didn't work. But you arrived to me already fucked up. It's not like you came here and you was a good kid and then you came to scared straight. If you was a good kid, you'd never be on scared straight. So that means you must have been doing something you're not supposed to be doing. So now you here. But this is not the cause of why you ended up dead. You probably would have ended up dead anyway. You know what I'm saying? We tried to prevent it, but sometimes that's just the path.
It wasn't no big deal.
You can't stop it.
The reset program, it didn't change me. It really don't feel no different.
See, it didn't change him, didn't make him feel. You know what I'm saying? It didn't make him worse. It didn't do none of that. But it didn't. Something like that. If you're a bad kid going there, I don't think that could make you worse. It can't. You know what I'm saying?
Since the majority of the show's participants were children at the time, it's hard to find the long-term results of their lives. However, based on what I found, it seems like a lot of them went on to live regular lives. If you search...
Exactly, that's what I was saying. They making it seem like most of the kids are coming on, they criminals. Now, I doubt that. That's impossible. After seeing that shit, how could most kids is going to come home and be scared and be like, nah, I don't want to go down there. I got to stop. I got to listen to my parents. Like, of course, a couple of them is going to end up fucked up. You can't save everybody. That's just life. A couple of them going to end up dead. A couple of them going to end up in. But I would definitely say, I don't give a damn. I ain't got the research to back it up, but I honestly believe majority of the kids that went up here, they stopped doing whatever.
Search what happened to so-and-so from Beyond Scared Straight. Most of what you find is clickbait leading you to an Instagram page of someone who we can't confirm was actually on the show. So if the program has been proven to be ineffective through various extensive studies across the past 30 years, why did they do a show about it? Well, that's because the guy who has built his entire career from this program, Arnold Shapiro, is fully convinced that this program is a good thing. Shapiro says that all the extensive studies are totally irrelevant because they were done from 1967 to 1999. He also said that only the academic community believes proper counseling for youth offenders works. If society had the money or resources to do that, that would be great if every kid could have years of counseling, but it's not realistic. It would be interesting if A&E used the millions of profits from the show to get these youth offenders counseling, since society doesn't have the money, right?
Negro, are you high? Why would they do that? These ain't they kids. Y'all raise fucked up kids. We try to help them. I'm not finna give you and pay for your kids' counseling, motherfucker. No.
Shapiro shrugs off the criticism of Scared Straight. There's every variation. It works for some, it doesn't work for some. But you can say that about any program that exists. Shapiro thinks that as long as it works for some, then it justifies the program. And since the program exists, he is happy profiting off of it. He has openly admitted that the children they decide to be on the show are not the ones that they think will change, but rather the ones with the best personality. It really is based on their personalities and what happens with them. We didn't have any belief that Brandon T. from Michigan, who stood up to the officers and just kind of had a meltdown, would ever change. Even when the tour was over, he got thrown out, but we still picked him because it was so explosive, and we never saw anything like that before or since. Although, other kids have...
And I figured that too. Sometimes they pick certain kids, like, yeah, bring them on the show because they know this motherfucker is going straight to jail. Some of them they know is nothing you could do for them. Like, certain kids come there, they already too far gone. Like, if this doesn't scare you straight, nothing will. You're too far gone. There's nothing they can do. So they just gonna bring you on the show for the excitement, but they know they can't fix you with this shit. Motherfucker, you're gonna be dead or in jail in the next 5 years. You are a psychopath walking.
Have stood up to officers. It's amazing. When I went through high school or even college, you never thought you would disrespect a teacher or an authority figure, especially somebody in law enforcement. But these kids have no fear. It's crucial to question whether the pursuit of profits overshadows moral principles, as corporate interests often prioritize ratings and financial gain over the well-being of humans. But it makes it even worse when you consider that the people they are affecting are not consenting adults. These are children, and it's being broadcasted to millions of people to watch them suffer. They are being told that this is genuine rehabilitation, and they don't really.
Yeah, you would look at some of these kids' eyes and could tell they. This niggas ain't finna do nothing to me, and I'm finna rob that liquor store when I get up out of here. Some of them you just know it ain't no coming back for them.
They have a choice to participate. Occasionally they rebel so much that they get kicked out of the jail, but most of the time they are trapped with no escape. The truth is, everyone wants a quick.
Bro, I don't give a fuck what nobody say. I believe this shit work. I hear what he's saying, but he only showed me 2 examples of people where it didn't work out from. Where's the other hundreds of kids? You said they had 90-something episodes, so come on, bro. I need to see proof of majority of the kids ending up worse off than they was before they was on the show. And we can't say that because they came to the show fucked up. So it's going to be hard to prove that. These are already bad kids. They don't bring good kids here and then they turn bad. These were already bad fucking kids. They brought them here, tried to fix them, didn't work, and they continued being bad. So we can't say, oh, he died because of the show. This is going to be hard to tell what the statistics are and what's the cause and if the show helped or it didn't help, because you already came to me fucked up. It's going to be hard to determine if I made it worse or if you was going on, if it was just nothing that could have been done. But I honestly believe this show helped. I only seen 2 examples. I thought he's going to have hundreds of examples of these kids turning out to be criminals, but I ain't see that.
Quick and cheap solution to an extremely complicated and layered social problem that is juvenile delinquency. But hey, as long as it works sometimes, it's all good. Right? Beyond Scared.
Alright, that's the end of the video. Like and subscribe right there. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I think it worked. That's just my personal opinion. I can't see how it wouldn't work. I mean, these kids today are a different thing. I know morals, no respect. And they don't care about nothing, so they might need to go in there and let them prisoners beat them with belts. That will definitely work. I'm telling you, let them prisoners be able to beat them with some belts, like get them some discipline from back in the day where grandmama used to give. These motherfuckers will be straight as a needle, but can't do that now. It's illegal. So I don't know. Like and subscribe. I'll be back to y'all with another one. Let's go.